Hey, loves, it's Roslynn back at you one more again. I hope everybody is doing blessed. I hope you're doing blessed. I'm doing blessed and highly favored, and definitely hope the same for you. And if this is your first time stopping by my channel, much love to you and welcome. And to my returning subs, my growing extended beautiful family, as always, thank you so much for the love and support. It is truly appreciated. So with that being said, much love to all. Namaste. Love and blessings, love and light. And many blessings are definitely coming your way. And if you have been watching my videos for a while and have not already, like and subscribe, hit that notification bell at the bottom so you know when I'm about to upload my next video. And if you are comfortable enough, drop me a line or two. I would love the chance to get to know you as much as you're getting to know me, even if it's about the positive feedback to the content of my video, or you're up telling me about your empathic gift. And if you feel like the video is uplifting, give you good vibes, you would love to share with a loved one, family, or a friend, or even a fellow empath that may be going through some trying times and just needs spiritual guidance or confirmation, validation towards life path, or even soul purposes, please go ahead and share them while you're at it. Give your girl a thumbs up, like, and also share in a social media favorite wherever you see fit. As always, thank you so much for the love and support. It is truly, truly appreciated. And I hope you're able to resonate with the content of the video. And this one is about Twin Flame 101. Heyokas, you are building up in front of all things that left doubt. You need to congratulate yourself. There's a lot of times, like I've said before, you've been with me for a while. You heard me say it a lot of times. God and devil go hand in hand. They're showing things in your life that needs to be revealed. God is using it to uplift you and allow you to grow within that knowledge of experience, to be able to get you further. But the devil will use that to keep you distracted, stressed out, putting your vibrations, your thoughts, your movement on everything that it may not even happen, take place, but that's what he likes to do. He knows that you have a great power, and you hold this light. And it's crazy, even the people that really don't care for you, I feel like, if I really think about it, and I think of a lot of things that I've gone through, that connects with God and devil at the same time, but it's just two different ways. A lot of times we try to understand why do we connect with narcissists, sociopaths, sadists, masochism, what is it, narcissist personality disorders, or even narcissists, toxic tides, and all those different things. And it's a lot of times we're meeting parts of other people as we do the mirroring. They mirror back to us. There are certain parts that we really truly connect with those people at that time. You'll start noticing the more you're on your spiritual journey of healing in every way, or not even, because there's a lot of people that have not gone through things that was traumatizing. It's a blessing. I've had a handful of people, not that many, but I know there's a lot more out there that just didn't really go through something very traumatizing. It's just that they had to live a life for a certain period to where they fell in a place where God feels like, this is a part of themselves they need to be open to and learning and growing with these through different things that they're experiencing and connection with. So there's a lot of different things that comes into your life, and it makes it feel, a lot of times, I don't know if it's just me, but the more you're being open, a lot of times it feels like you're not a part of what you've been the whole time. And I guess it's just because you'll be stepping out the vibration of simulations and the matrix. You're allowing yourself to keep ascending, and you're getting away from the 3D mentality. And so there's a lot of things that you have gone through in your life where you're always, it's not wanting to doubt yourself, but there's a lot of people that are, when you have gone through so much, you place doubt in yourself when you don't know how much strength is hidden behind that cast of toxicity, pain, trauma, neglect, some kind of abuse that you have connected with. And, the further you choose to allow yourself to go down that road, you'll start seeing where your power is, that power is being revealed to you in so many ways. Because there's a few people that I've connected with recently, and they're like, Roslynn, why is this happening to me? Why am I going through things that feel uncomfortable? Even I've had experiences lately where it felt downright uncomfortable. But these are the things that you're finding more about yourself that needed to be explored, needed to be discovered through the change of transitioning. And it can get very intense because it's speeding up that process, because you need to be able to know every side of yourself. You're going to keep allowing yourself to keep going and going and going until you finally get into that introduction. I know I said a video about that last week. You're going to keep showing up for yourself until you find that ultimate self in you that needed that big introduction. You're meeting yourself for the first time. Your inner self, your powerful self, because everybody has it. I really feel everybody has it, but some people just don't have that strength to really go through that, because it's not like saying, with people that are projecting on you as weak-minded, but I'm not gonna even lie, because I've said that in the past. I'm even gonna lie, because there's certain times I felt like, even through certain things, and I have to allow myself to apologize for that, because I'm really trying not to speak negative about people, even if they do carry these toxic vibrations on purpose, because they don't want to, a lot of things people want to curve holding themselves responsible for their part they play. Even if you have been hurt in some kind of way, there's a part that we initiated within ourselves to allow ourselves to keep being wounded by that. And sometimes it's like, what you talking about? I'm talking about for my life. I don't know what's going on with you until I connect with you, and God allows me to know what it is that you're connecting with. But I can allow myself to identify with myself, because I'm allowing myself to learn, and I have to be very mindful and discerning about how I speak on people, because that's placing judgment on them, even though they can be very toxic. But there's people here on this earth that are willing to be open, because learning about yourself and accepting a lot of things can be very hard, especially if you've gone through so many things. Because it's like I've told people before, when I first started, I didn't realize I was victim blaming. I didn't realize I was allowing myself to always talk about what somebody did to me, what they did this, they did that, they did this, they did that. And I learned more that was what victim blaming is. You're allowing yourself to get in that victim mentality. Even these things did happen, but not allowing that to break you down, but it's breaking you away and saying, you're not a victim of anything, but you're the victor that's going to overcome that. You're overcoming a lot of different things you may not have felt like you could ever overcome. And there are certain times I programmed that into my mind. I felt like I could never heal from the trauma that was placed on me to get to this line. I work on it every day. It's not something that's easy. A lot of times you don't want to feel certain things anymore. You don't want to allow yourself to keep going through that connection that really, it hurt deep, but we all have a purpose here. And we carry a lot of damage, from our from our timeline through our bloodline, and every generation that mess adds weight to it. And it make me feel like Buffy and the Vampire Slayer. A lot of times you carry the weight of the world on your shoulders, because there are a lot of things I can identify. I'm like, girl, dang, you were just prepping me for the stuff I got to deal with. Except I ain't in Sunnydale and sitting on the hell mouth and feel like this is the hell mouth. But these are the things you're allowing yourself to be open, and it takes a lot of strength, to be able to allow yourself to be responsible on what parts you took to add more initial suffering into your life. And that can be a very sensitive subject, because even for me, that's why I say I try to be discerning, because it's just the fact is you don't want to tell people they're weak. And they're not weak, but they may have weak vibrations, and there's time I ain't gonna even lie. I'll tell somebody you weak-minded as hell, but I would be very volatile with my words, because I can be holding truth, but it would just be the way I'm not caring about how it might project on that person. I ain't gonna even lie. I carried around a lot of narcissistic vibrations, I didn't have to be it, but I was attached to it because I experienced it through my upbringing. But just being able to allow myself, I had to hold myself accountable. It's like, shoot, don't be preaching to the choir and not allowing yourself to, poke a blame at yourself. You have to be able to do that when you're allowing yourself to be transparent. Yeah, I sucked. I sucked as a person. I went through a lot of hateful things. There's a lot of times I felt like my punishment on placing on other people was okay because that's what I had. And I played that part very well for a long period of time. So I had to allow myself to say, girl, you want better. You got to start speaking better. You have to start projecting better, being very selective about how you see your life, how you see individuals, how you see the world, and a lot of times it's hard for you. You have to be very selective about it. Because there's certain things that I connected with, and there's people that are just, going to use every excuse in a book for them not to hold themselves accountable, and they're okay with that. And I mean, that's what projections do. That's what people do when it's victim blaming or projecting, or feel like, since this happens to me, and this is my pain, I'm going to unleash anything that reminds me of what that pain is taking place into my life. You could have mommy issues, daddy issues, or you could have been abused in a certain way. It's like with my situation, I mean, I felt like I was violated in a lot of ways. So I had trust issues. I still do. I really still do. And I work on those things every day, but just allowing myself to use discernment on a lot of different things. And that's a blessing to me, because now it's just like when that vibration comes, you get mad like, dad, why not catch on to that before? It's okay. You had to learn something from that person. So it wasn't ready for you to catch on at that exact time. Because a lot of times we can go through something and be mad at ourselves because we allow certain things to get at us, or we allow, we wish we'd had a better comeback for that, instead of allowing ourselves to say, you know what, I needed that situation. Because a lot of times you go through some very toxic situation on toxic things in your life, and we get mad because I'm like, man, if I could go back time, I would have wished I would have never met this person. Or I would have really wished I didn't have kids with this woman, or kids with this man, or certain things like that. But you had to be able to go through that. So when somebody else is coming at you with that same vibration, it takes you back in that. And it's not like you're trying to allow yourself to keep reliving it, because we do have issues of hanging on to the past. But when you allowed yourself to totally disconnect from that, and it brought you up on that, that's exactly what it's trying to show you. It's like, if you didn't go through this experience, how would you be able to know to use the laws of discernment to make that quick curve? Like, hey, I'm not connecting with that. I know what that reminded me of, and I forgot all about that until you did that certain thing, and it took me right back to that moment. And then you're going to appreciate that situation, that person, and that sequence that you connected with that saved you in the long run. That was like you don't really, you don't pull the Matrix thing and you done dodged a few bullets, shoot even a tannenbaum. It had anything to do with it, depending on the person and the sequence. But those are the things you are starting to build up. And there's a lot of people that say you can't do this, you won't do that, because they fear that you will. A lot of times they think, oh no, don't do that. Because a lot of times people don't want you to go into a direction that may change the way you connecting with them, change the way what you're entertaining with them, or certain things they manipulated within you with that connection. Because a lot of times people will tell you something, not because they're not scared to tell the truth, but they know that vibration may change the way they can't benefit off of you anymore. I shared like a little video with Kevin Gates, and it was true, and I felt that wholeheartedly. That if you have that vibration of greatness, there'll be certain people that'll connect with you that knows you hold that power of greatness. But when they know they can benefit off of that, they ain't going to tell you that you're great. There's a lot of different people, like, when I know I see power there, and I see that person is very driven, not to just impact their life, but a lot of other people, I'll guarantee you, I'm going to allow myself to say, you know what? I appreciate this stuff that you're putting out, because this is really helping me, because there's a lot of time like, oh, if I put this post out, I don't want nobody getting offended off of it. But then it was just like, you know what? If that's not what your intention is, it's always going to be offensive to somebody that doesn't want to connect with that or admit within themselves. Because a lot of time I can have the most positive video out, but I'll get a thumbs down because That person know I'm identifying with that same exact thing that they don't like admitting to. It only bothers a person when they know they have that going on, but just too prideful to connect with that. So there's a lot of things that you hold within yourself. There's a lot of things, that energies, entities, devil's minions that see that in you, and they want to be able to devour that within themselves. They're like culture vultures and soul snatchers. And they don't want you to obtain nothing like that, because they're like, oh, I gotta have that, I gotta have it, let me see if I can groom them, and then break them down and make sure that they doubt themselves. They question everything. They question God. They question their gifts. They question the blessings. And all these different things, because they see that true potential in you. And a lot of times, I've been in that part where I wanted people that put suffering on me. I wanted them to suffer just like that. And I didn't realize you were creating to mirror out them. You have to stop doing that. And I mean, I went through it for a while. No cap. Being transparent, I felt that way, because I felt like when you cut me and cut me deep, and you did, because there's a lot of time people think it's all fun and games until you mention the things that they did, and they know it was against the things that they're doing, because they're worried about how other people are seeing them. I say, oh no, you took pleasure out of seeing you tear me apart in front of a lot of different people that you projected about my life in so many different ways. You made me look like a villain because you didn't want to feel guilty about what you're doing, but you want other people to see me in the same way you want to see me, even though I'm not even about that. But you choose to make me out as that person. And then when I open up and say something and call you out on it, all of a sudden you want to start denying things, or you want to gaslight and stuff like that. That's why it's always been a trigger for me of seeing a lot of people that put people through abuse in every form necessary. I can respect the person that, that can be honest about the abuse being laid on people. And I told a friend of mine, I mean, it was comical, but it wasn't. It was comical about how he presented it, but you can't even. I hate that people can be like that towards another person, but I can respect you more when you're being honest about what you did. Because I know I was watching on one of those prison shows. They were getting interviewed about what took them on capital murder or death row, whatever it was. And it was one guy that said, hey, oh, your situation is like you tried to, take your wife out. I'm being, I'm censoring myself because of YouTube guidelines. And I mean, that man, he didn't pause. He didn't flinch, feel uncomfortable. He said, yeah, I did it and I missed. They let me out again, and I'm going to make sure I do it. I'm going to do it right this time. Because there are some people that get in that situation. They realize what they did, and knowing your whole life has been altered for a temporary emotion that made a permanent decision. Now, you want to sit up here and say, well, I found God. I've been rehabilitated. I done did this. I had that. I want everybody signing signatures, and I want to be off. Knowing good and well, ain't nothing changed in you. You just tired of being in that daggone, being concealed in a certain environment because of the choices you made. And that man was just like, no, I meant what I did. Now, I won't deny that. I won't lie. Yeah, I did. Because if they let me out, I'm going to guarantee you, I'm going to make sure I'm not going to miss this time. And it was just like, I laughed, and it wasn't even laughing because this man tried to take his wife out, but I'm laughing because that dude was honest about that. That's what I was like, Dad, you can't even, it's like, Dad, you would do that to somebody, but I have a whole new respect for you because you kept it real. I had to be around folks that made sure they made me look like I was lying. I'm like, no, but it was good. You enjoyed that. Take pleasure in knowing, but keep it real. Yeah, I enjoyed hurting her. I enjoyed making her look like a certain thing. I enjoyed doing that because a lot of people, they know what they did and they take pride out of that. But the whole thing is they don't want to be projected on getting caught knowing that, because there'll be some people that enjoy that do it too. So they'll cater to that. But if there's other ones that they see is looking at them and like, damn, you really did that? No, why are you saying these things? No, keep that energy like you did when you did it. Don't change up because we're in front of different headlights. Don't do that. Don't do it. And that always been a thing with me, because I know I did it. There's different things that I've read up on other people that connected with that. And that used to be that would be my turning point. I can't stand that about anybody. If you do something like that to people, you keep that real. Don't switch up because you scared about how somebody's going to see you, because you already know who you are. And there's a lot of times people know that they're toxic. And just, they know that deep inside. They're just not going to admit it. Their actions show that. The things that they do show that. But there's certain times they're not going to, say, hey, I'm a toxic person. I abuse you in any kind of way possible if you allow me to. But it's just like allowing yourself to know you can rehabilitate yourself, and a lot of times that takes some hardcore discipline within yourself. Hardcore discipline. When you have to allow yourself to know where your pain took place. And, I mentioned this is like I love that person to death, because when I say that hit different when I heard it. And, and it's true, because there's so many times universe will tell you, we know you went through this pain, but why are you allowing yourself to relive it? Because there's times I really did do that, and it rubbed me the wrong way when somebody called me out on it, because I felt like I had every right to say what has been done to me. But I was attaching myself to a illusion, even though it was like, it's not illusion because it did happen to me. But this was that turning point for me to recreate my own self, allowing myself to heal and not keep attaching myself to that pain somebody want me stuck in. And it's like, you don't have to be stuck to that. You know what happened into your life. Know what is the turning point on healing yourself. That's what counts. There's a lot of times we have gone through different things that left us doubting ourselves every time. Whether it could have been, you could have had parents that wasn't supportive to you. They didn't tell you there's something, oh, you can't do that. Or, no, you don't got this. You don't have that. You can't do that. And it made it feel like that child could never be inspired to do things that they dreamed about. You never know what that person wants to be. A lot of kids like, I want to be the president. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a firefighter. I want to be a police officer. Something like that. Any kind of form of superhero that they know that can change within the world, because the children don't see like adults see until we program to do that. It's taught. But when the real power is, a lot of times you want to get revenge on different people that have hurt you. You want to get back at people that place hurt and blame on you and didn't allow themselves to hold themselves responsible for the things that they have, placed as an affliction on you. When you move through your convictions and say, I've been through that. Yeah. I've been hurt. Yeah. Many times, as people still try to do that. But now I can use that as that fuel to become a better person. And a lot of times you have to keep telling yourself that, yes, there's a lot of people that not everybody has that same heart as you. Not everybody has that same mindset as you, and it's always up to you. You can allow yourself to entertain that. People can keep going, but it takes your permission for it to stay with you like that. You can use that as fuel to say, I want to become a better person. I don't want to become what they are. Let me allow myself to forgive them. Allow myself to detach from that, because those experiences I had made me full force on going on to be able to disconnect, because I choose to be happy. Your happiness is not based on other people's madness they want to keep cloaking you with. You can allow yourself to feel that. Build up. The best revenge you can do towards anything and anyone that wants you to stay, dumbed down or diluted or even questioning your own existence is allowing yourself to keep moving. Allow yourself to place happiness in your life, even when they're trying to break you down. Because a lot of times you have to understand that it is hard for us to not take that personal, even when it's directed completely at us, completely to us. But it's just, this is what that person is only good for knowing. Because there's a lot of times, if we look back on our lives, we got very shameful and embarrassed by certain things we knew. But you have to understand, be easy on yourself. You knew what you knew at that time. You're being open to learn more about what you choose to bring peace into your life, what abundance, prosperity, keep, being that trendsetter of allowing yourself to evolve and not staying the same. When you don't be doing the same stuff you've been doing 10, 15 years, you have to allow yourself to upgrade at least about a few daggone times. Don't sit up here and stay there. There's some people who are okay with just being, but you're that anointed one where you cannot do that. That doesn't apply to you, and there's a lot of people who will do anything and everything to make sure that doesn't happen. And that will be your exact fuel. It's not to prove to them, but prove to yourself. Because a lot of folks will place their fears on you, and it don't have nothing to do with you. A lot of time people just don't want to see you move on. They like it when you're stressed out. They like it when you suffer. They love when you're all in your head and you're hurt and you're doubting yourself. They love that because they know you have what it takes to just catapult out that mess. They just don't want you to find that out. So the best revenge you can do is keep going. You don't have to allow yourself to match up with what they're projecting. They can't bother you. You have to allow yourself to keep reminding yourself of that. They can't bother you unless you allow it to. Somebody want to come at you sideways, you just turn in the other corner and allowing yourself to disconnect from that. Responding by not responding is the best response, And a lot of times people, they get mad at you because you didn't allow yourself to express the way they were hoping you to. That can really piss a lot of people off when they keep on poking and poking and poking, and you're not allowing yourself to react the way they want to. You just observing, like, okay, well, they're doing what they usually do. It's predictable, but just allowing yourself to pray for them, because it's like people that do that, they don't want to connect with that, what keeps them to continue to do that. They see something in you, they don't want to see you happy. The devil don't either. But just allowing yourself, anything that you are going through, you can use that as fuel to grow into yourself, because what you don't want to no longer keep continuing to go through. You don't want to keep going through a repetitive cycle that you have worn out your welcome at anyway. But just allowing yourself to say, what can I learn from these situations that can help me get to that next level? Open me up to a new vibration that will make me feel like I am free. Because a lot of times we feel caged in our own prison of pain, because there's a lot of time we stay in there because we're in our heads. We're allowing ourselves to keep going down that line of what somebody did that. I've done that myself. And I have to say, girl, if you want better, you got to start looking better, choosing different things you speak on, allowing yourself to just see it, but don't let that mess imprint you. You can't do it without your permission. There's a lot of things that's going to, is going to happen around you to get you discouraged, get you distracted. But if you allow yourself, God usually puts that into your life because he knows within the world there's a lot of patterns that have to just cut source from, pull that plug, and be very vicious about it. And I'm not saying towards that person, but that's a supply you have to be able to powerfully disconnect you from, snatching your power back and giving whatever it is, the situation, person, or subject, or timeline, give that back and appreciate what it sent you. Appreciate what it taught you. And a lot of times it's hard for us to be able to say, all the abuse we have, you're giving that back. You're giving that vibration back to them, or back to that moment, that time, that era, and just being able to say that hurt me deep, it cut me deep. But I appreciated where it took me to find myself and what I can allow a negative impact in my life, or a negative, experience can come into a positive outcome on not just helping myself, but there's a lot of people that may be still going through that. And I tell people that you don't know how you're that inspiration, that it can be a challenge of a whole mood of a change, that you're going to be that cheat sheet for somebody. You are that prayer of a blessing. You are actually a blessing to a lot of people's unanswered prayers, where they feel like it's unanswered at, and you being brought clean into their light and say, you know what, look at that person's life. They used to struggle in certain situations in life where they didn't know where their end and where their beginning was. It was just so many different things that was in them that they didn't know they discovered until they went through that when you start getting, headstrong and being determined, like, I'm not going to allow myself to continue to do this. I want to be happy. I want to be able to do things that uplift me. I want to be around people that enjoy winning, not just enjoy winning within themselves, but want to connect with other people to help them do the same thing too. Because there's a lot of times people will love you until you become competition. And you're not allowing yourself to do that. But there's a lot of times if you're doing something and you're doing something boldly that they didn't know they could do as well, they'll start seeing you as a comparison and competition. And I always tell people, I'm not comparing myself to you because my blessing is my blessing. I'm not going to block you on what you got doing because I'm working on my own blessing here. Now, what you choose to do on your life, on what I got going on, they ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm going to just stay forward on mine and be very continuous with that. If I need to take a break, I'm going to take a break, but I'm going to get right back up. If you fall down, it don't matter if you fell back down, but how you get up is what truly matters within your life. You're growing every day, but it's up to you if you decide to do that, and there's a lot of times that it can hold that heaviness of doubt that is taking place in your life, but there'll be certain fear vibrations or certain situations or certain attachments will be that motivation or determination to reach that goal of happiness. And you just put it that way. You know what you're dealing with in life, and you know what desperately needs to change in your life. But everything that you have gone through, you have to be able to give it its flowers because it taught you so much. And I have to learn that every day. It's just like even the things that was a moment of trigger, that was a blessing in disguise for me because it showed me right exactly where I had to disconnect from, what I had to heal, appreciate, and give back. Give back and take part of my, take my energy back. Because there's a lot of times we don't put so much energy in things that didn't recognize our worth, that took us for granted, seen us and wanted to destroy us in every kind of way, wanted to deplete us in every kind of way. But when you snatch that back, but then you're going to send gratitude to that person or to that situation or to that moment, that era, that sequence, or whatever, because it allowed you to see the power within you that was laying behind all that cast of trauma, anger, madness, confusion, distraction. It allowed you to know yourself on so many levels, so many ways, so many directions. And you're going to appreciate that. A lot of times we're in these toxic relationships and karmic connections that can really feel detrimental to your life. But when you go into that breeding sequence of healing, you'll start seeing even those worst situations where people try to do things to distract you because they didn't want to see you happy. That will be your blessing in disguise. And a lot of times you don't see that until you get to that moment of where that big shift has took place, that you'll appreciate what that pain that somebody gave you, because that's what it is. You're breaking away from old things, cannot keep continuing, and you're going to appreciate that. I see from a lot of different things that I've gone through in every relationship, whether it was a friend, it was family, co-workers, boyfriend, girlfriends, all those different things, family, that I can say, it hurt deep and it cut me deep. But then when I allow myself to get out my own feelings and allow myself to really back up and really see things from, you got to change that perspective. You want to be able to grow, you got to change the perspective. And I remind myself that I'm like, how am I going to change how you're looking at it? What kind of positive situation can come out of a hellified, depressing, negative situation? That showed you where your worth is, no matter who this person is. Because a lot of times we stay connected to family that does all they can to use us as that narcissistic punching bag and a doormat, because this is something that they take pleasure of doing. And when you're allowing yourself to say, look, I keep telling you, I don't like the way this is making me feel. I don't like how you're projecting towards me. And I don't like how you're hurting me. And I mean, there's a lot of times you can tell somebody that and they may not even realize they're doing it. But there's a lot of people that'll take advantage and keep doing that. And it can't do it without you, hey, because a lot of times family feel like you have no choice but to keep dealing with that. When I say I don't talk to none of my family, I stick to none. The only family I deal with is, my family done crossed over. And and that's pretty much it. And I mean, it's been lonely, but I'm okay. I'd rather be in a vibration where I'm alone at that period than be around things that I got to question where I fit in at, or why does when I get around certain people, it makes me feel so drained. And when you allow yourself to place that self-worth in there, you're not going to allow yourself to just settle for anything. You raise your standards on a lot of different things. You being very selective about what you choose to select to be plugged into. And then you'll start seeing these things. You complain all day. That's easy. You can give up. That's easy. But when you're allowing yourself to see, what, I'm glad I was in that toxic relationship because it showed me love on where I need to place that love in myself. Because if I want to get the same exact thing that God is destined to be able to give me, I have to place that all in me first. You can't go find somebody that's going to give you your happiness. You're never going to be satisfied. And it's just like when people look for the external validation and external happiness, and materialistic things, or just in other people to fulfill that, it is just like you're using a battery in a remote that you already know it needs to be changed. A lot of times when we like that, we ain't got the money for it, don't feel like going to the store, you pull it out, blow on it, move it around, and then put the top back on and go ahead and do it. Yeah, it'll work for a while, but eventually you're gonna have to change those batteries, and you'll start noticing that. Because there's a lot of things I went through in my life, and I just felt like it was always me. But then I start seeing, but when I open myself up to low self-esteem, ego driven, prideful, or somebody's needing their ego to be, somebody got to keep reminding them of what they are instead of finding that within themselves. So, when I see that, it allowed me to have worth in myself, be, applying that love to myself. Because when you apply that love to yourself, because a lot of times we can show people that we always put ourselves on the back burner to feed other people happiness, and it's not being reciprocated. And when you allow yourself to disconnect from that, hey, I'm giving this out and you're not giving it back. So I'm allowing myself to, you took that for granted. So I'm snatching my power back. You're giving your power back when you're not allowing yourself to keep thinking about what that person did, what that person put you through, what they did, what they didn't do, how hurtful this was, what was that towards me. But allowing yourself to see you had to go through this experience to see what you're lacking at. And when I can allow myself to see that, it took me a long time, and I still remind myself that, because there are certain things the wounds are deep, and there are certain times there'll be a vibration will come up, and it's just for universe to be saying this can no longer be in your thought process. You're moving on, you're ascending, so this is going to have to leave. And a lot of times there'll be old wounds coming up, and it's not there for you to get triggered, but it's allowing you to know, what lesson did you learn from this situation? Yeah, it was painful, but what positive point you can allow yourself to appreciate what that situation taught you, because you're disconnecting from whatever that is, because it's not, it has to be able to be let go. So whatever that situation is, whatever that person was, or who that person is, or even a part of yourself, you're going to say, you know what, even though that person did me doggish, it went straight gutter to me in every way, but I'm going to appreciate that, because they helped me find so much in myself where I needed to work on, and I had to say that there's so much time I always put my happiness and peace and everything else on the back burner to accommodate somebody that was not willing to risk that for me. And if there's somebody that really cares for you, they're not going to put you in certain situations to where you have to question where you are in their life. If they love you, if they care for you, can I be vulnerable in front of that person? Or are they going to use my weaknesses against me? Or they're going to know different situations that has happened in my life and make sure they don't take me there? Or you're telling them about what things you experienced in your life, and they're showing you that they're not going to do what other people are doing. And they'll get to a time where you're going to appreciate that stab in the back, or you're going to appreciate that deception or that lie or whatever. Because there's a lot of time we connect with people that we're so used to doing them like they do other people, and you actually are being that genuine person that had no motives, no intentions, but you just wanted to be that kind of connection that can bring some kind of peace and joy and uplift in your life. And when folks are not used to that, they always feel like, what's the catch? And it don't even have to be a catch, but they are not used to that person you are. And a lot of times they don't realize that until you become that memory. Because if you don't love what's in front of you, now you're going to love the memory of what it tried to love you back. But those are the things that I can say towards everything I've gone through, even through my toxic relationships, even through my exit. I've been disconnected with for a long time. There's time I ain't gonna lie, I'll say very hateful things about him, to him and behind him. But now when I allow myself, I'm like, girl, you gotta get out of that sequence. You can't keep talking about stuff like that. You can't keep envisioning that, but just allowing yourself. And I've always told him that you have been the biggest blessing in my life in a lot of ways. And I know he probably thought I was being sarcastic about that, because you showed me everything I didn't want. There's a lot of times that I felt that was love and it was codependency, but it allowed me to see the parts of myself that I really truly needed my attention for me to heal from. And I'm not just throwing all that stuff on him, because I have to hold accountable for the parts that I played, certain things that I seen, and I allowed myself to entertain that. And that is that blessing. I needed that in my life. I needed to place love into myself. Had to allow myself to raise my standards. Don't settle for anything. If it's really, a connection that is true love, it's a soulmate, they're not going to do anything for you to question where you are in your life. They're not going to be up in the air like, I'm not sure, I really don't know. That person don't even know what they want, but you can't stay there and wait for that, because there's somebody, there are going to be people out here going to make excuses on every single thing to, where you shouldn't be. There shouldn't be other people role playing for that part when you should be the main character, but there's going to be a lot of people that's going to do that to you. But there's going to be that one that God has destined for you, and you had to learn from all those failed relationships, good or bad. You learned all those things to where it planned this for you. And a lot of times I had to relate, I had to really tell myself, a lot of times people come into your life that makes you a better person. They're helping you become that better person for the person that you were meant to be with. And you're going to appreciate all those hurtful, negative times that things has really broke your mind, broke your heart, just brutally impact your soul and kept you up in sleepless nights. Because those are the things that's going to tell you to change your ways. Or there are certain things that's going to irritate you and anger you, and showing you where that healing needs to take place at. But whatever that is, you're going to become appreciative of what that toxic relationship taught you, because it shows you to love yourself beyond all understandings. Do never accept or settle for anything that you don't deserve. Any person that really cares for you, they're not going to leave that question mark over that. They're going to do any and everything to make sure they don't mess up that relationship. They're going to show that you are all that they need. And they're going to be able to make sure they're not your opponent. That's not your competition, but that's your partnership. That's your union, all those different things. And you're going to appreciate that, because all those different things showed you on what should not take place into your life, what should take place in your life, what kind of sacrifices you and that person is willing to do, becoming to a mutual understanding, not being volatile during disagreements, but allowing yourself to just, if you got to, take that space, chill out for a minute, and then come back to where you're talking and compromising and showing where issues are and trying to connect with that. Those are the things you're going to appreciate. I needed those dark moments in my life. I needed those toxic times, when I allowed things to to really affect me in that way, because I was still hurting, and that's where you're keeping it real from. That I was still hurt from those certain situations. Even if that person, does certain things by triggering me, hurting me, trying to make me angry, trying to get me there, you have to, and I have to allow myself to remind myself they're doing what they're comfortable. This is what they know. They don't, they can get out that sequence and do things in a positive way. But some people are just comfortable with doing that because there's certain kind of truths that has to come out, accountability, and some people are not ready for that rehabilitation. You can pray for that for them, but they have to be able to do that on their own. But a lot of times those are coming into your life, and it takes you to go through that many years of healing. I went through it for 21 years. There's something like, damn, you were really slow. But then it was just like, I had to be able to go through that, and I learn and heal from it and appreciate it every day. And then sometimes it's hard for me to do that, especially with different situations. But I can allow myself to say that, because I've told them that, I will never go through this with anybody else. But I appreciate what I went through with you, because it allowed me to know to change the way I want things. If I want things to really be very good for me, there's these situations I had to remind myself not to keep going through the memory saying, I know he did this, or I remember this, I remember that. If you want to hold that member of that person, allow yourself to appreciate the good that has happened into the relationship, even though it may have been a ruse or illusion in some kind of way, but allow yourself to remember them as that, but allow yourself to forgive and disconnect from the stuff that really upset you, that kept you up at night, that kept you crying, and allow yourself to heal where you have done your dirt too, because you have to understand, there's no reason to be shameful, because you didn't know what you know now. Because there's a lot of times things will pop up, I'm like, oh my God, I really wish I didn't do that. I was so embarrassed, but then it's just like, it's okay. You're learning right now. Then you are projecting, then you are codependent. Those times that you were placing not your fear and hurt and pain on other people, this came natural for you. This is what you were exposed to. This is what you're used to, So now when you're learning more about yourself and what no longer can continue, allow yourself to stay focused on what you do want and disconnect from allowing your mind to stay on stuff that you really don't want, because this is where you grow, instead of saying, I can't wait to end this. I've said that a lot. Just allowing yourself to say, you know what, I'm healing myself because there's so much there's so much other things I'd rather be doing, or there's other places I'd rather be, or there's other vibrations I'm wanting to connect with. But allowing myself to see this as that moment in time of where you're going through that huge transformation from the old part of you to project the new. So, you're allowing yourself to be, you're moving up, you're changing in front of a lot of things, situations, timelines, vibrations, energies, and even people that place doubt on you, and that's the biggest thing you do. There's a lot of things that where there are people, not known and unknown, that don't want to see you do good. And, don't spend your time wanting to get back at them or waiting for them to suffer or anything like that, because, you have to understand, things like that with people like that choose not to heal. They're already creating their karma just by the things that they push out on other people. They may not realize that, or maybe not even care. But, a lot of times, even when it hurts us, they always try to remind you, don't look for that pain, because God is always going to feel like when they know you have done wrong to a certain individual, or you keep doing things, when they're trying to break away and you keep finding everything to allow that to not happen. God is going to allow you to see that karma is going to take place, but don't book, don't laugh at it. Don't mock different things, but you'll just see it and just observe it like, oh okay. But there's a lot of people, they'll see something in you and they'll find it very amusing. Don't become them and start doing that, because they always tell you, when people do things to try to keep you at a low vibration or keep you away from becoming better, even when it's projected to you, it's nothing personal. It's like we're in a human experience. So, we will take it personal. But when they tell you they're doing that, and they're not hurting you more than they're hurting themselves. Because, whatever, you hear that a lot. How you do people is your karma. How you react to it is yours. And when things come around, it goes around. But when it comes around, it's going to come around a lot harder. God on the raft right now. So it's just like you have to allow yourself to repent. Allow yourself to forgive whoever it is. If you want better in your life, you have to be able to disconnect from that. You want good things to come in, you have to be able to let go of other things. And, you work on that every day. You work on it every day, and then you'll start allowing yourself to give gratitude to those down times, gratitude to the darkness. You can't go to the light and neglect the darkness, because the darkness led you to that light. And you have to be able to love that part of yourself, because it created something so much better. And you're going to hold gratitude to it. I'll hold gratitude to mine every day, and allow myself to, whatever I couldn't cure for yesterday is going to be that standpoint today. So I hope you were able to resonate with the content of this video, y'all. I send so much love to you. Our family of Soulful Tribes is growing rapidly, and is so I'm blessed for that. And I'm very thankful for you, giving support, sharing the channel with people. And it's truly appreciated. There's a lot of people popping by. I try to, I've been in and out. I haven't been really consistent, because I have different things that I'm working on within myself as well. So, I try to put out, the video shorts on the beta, shorts where, I use different people's things, and I always make sure, you can see their account on there, because they got really good videos, got really good insight. There's times where you need a good laugh, or there are certain things that may be going on in your life that you really need that kind of projection of confirmation that, good things is coming in. Or even I use the real short meditations on open things up. I don't want to take credit for myself, but if I know if it's impacted my life in a funny way or uplift me, on days that I felt doubtful about myself, I really, really want to share that with other people so they can feel that way too. So, I always leave that on the on my shorts, as well as on my community page. I share my podcast, which I also leave the link to in the description box, and as well as my memes. I do that. I want to send out positive things when you're having a negative vibe or negative experience at that time. But I also want to do an uplift of giving something to you goofy and funny. That's what Heyokas do with the tricksters, jokesters. So I always want to bring that into your life, because, when you connect with me, I don't want you to leave the same way, that before you came in. I want you to be able to bring something back that is really hopeful in your life, as well as uplifting as well. So I hope y'all have a blessed weekend. Please be responsible at everything you do. If you, I know everybody's manifesting something right now, but I'm placing so many uplift, powerful, prosperity of all abundance of shorts that you never imagined that universe and God is bringing into your life, that I hope whatever they're bringing, they're impacting you in a way that's going to bring you to your knees. It's going to be a jaw dropper on whatever blessings that are coming in, and it even come in when you least expect it. I would love to give a post notification shout out to Sketchy Loco, Nick Alonzo, Dulaney Grange, as well as Howard Langson, and Keaton Costello. Much love to you. Welcome to the fam. If you're new, please welcome. Drop a line. I would love the chance to get to know you as much as you're getting to know me. Like I said, I'll leave all my contact information in the description box below. It's kind of like social working, empath social working, empath 101, because there's a lot of people that hit me up on the side. They're really not comfortable with putting what they're going through at that time on the tube of view where other people can see. They usually, connect with me and see if I can help or assist, or even just share something with me if they want my, my insight, or what I maybe, I experience about it, or just when you need something to be enlightened into your life that, you need to have a deeper understanding for what's taking place. So I try my best to be able to do that with either my experience or, what the powers that be give me, or what I can find online. And whatever we speak on is confidential, and I try my best to be able to help. But even through social distancing, please make sure you give out love, light, positivity, words, vibes, frequencies. You just never know. All those things will really take somebody a long way. And like I said, I hope you have a blessed, safe weekend. Please be safe and responsible at every single thing that you do. And y'all see me on the next one when you see the next one. So much love to you. Namaste.